Okay. We are live. We are back to needle felting in what seems like it's been forever. Sorry about that. Not being well last week, but here we are. We are needle felting along following season 3 of The Joy of Painting of Bob Ross. We are finally on the last episode of season 3, episode 13 Peaceful Waters, where Bob has Steve kind of doing a demonstration, answering the questions that people were writing in that they had. So this one's gonna kind of look a little menagerie-like. Kind of looks like winter in the back and fall up front, but that's okay. And we are just finishing getting sorted here. And everything should be good to go. In just a minute. Bear with me here. Okay. Alrighty. We got our water, we got our scissors. Get our needle here. I'm still not sure why the one side curved inward like that. That kind of pisses me off, but there's nothing I can do about it at this point. We just kind of have to roll with it. Alright, so when we last left off, we were working on our land of our foothill, because the way we're gonna do it, I want some ground for our foothill trees to sit on. It'll just be easier to handle in the long run. Kind of like how we go ahead and put dirt in our grass areas, not necessarily because Bob did that every time, but sometimes there are some spaces in between trees or grass blades when we do it with the fiber, and I kind of like the look of having something back there when we have gaps, so it's not just a solid wall of color. And then we can be a little more not really free, but we don't have to be as meticulous in the spacing between each tree. If we didn't do the background here, then we would definitely have to make sure that none of the trees had gaps in between them, and then it would just kind of look like a solid wall of color for our purposes, because this isn't like paint where, you know, it's gonna become different shades with what's already down here. Fiber and wet paint are not exactly the same. To adjust the shade, you would have to do quite a bit more adjusting, and in a different way. It's probably not going to quite work for this, so that's alright. We're gonna just do it the way that's gonna work the best for us. Now the link is in the chat that will take you to the tutorial that we are using today. It is pinned, so if anybody wants to watch that tutorial in full, you can go right ahead. We keep the tutorial paused for most of the time because Bob paints a heck of a lot faster than we can needle felt. And I also have it muted because for our purposes we don't really need to hear what Bob's saying necessarily because we're not using the paint. I do have the subtitles on though. At least I should. Although it doesn't look like they are in fact on. Nope, nope, nope. Oh, they are on. Okay. Steve. Get your hand out of the way, Steve. I actually had it paused in a good spot. I don't know. To me, Steve seemed real nervous about being there. It kind of seemed like he just wasn't really feeling it. Kind of working on getting that snow. Now it's not white. Our trees are going to be sort of like a teal color because that was sort of the closest color I could get with what I had on hand to get these foothills in. And I kind of just didn't want it to be straight white back here. That didn't quite feel right. I didn't think it would be a straight white with the shade of the trees reflecting and stuff, so it would be a little bit shadowy. So that's why we're kind of doing it this way. So hope everybody's having a good weekend. Okay. So we're getting there. Slowly. But we are getting there. Starting to fill in our curve here. The only thing I'm not sure of is if I'm gonna have enough of this color already fluffed. I didn't top off the bag on this one because I was like, oh no, we're good. Now I'm like, are we though? That I'm not sure of now. I mean, granted, this doesn't have to be perfect. So I'm probably going to have to come in a little bit on this side just to clean up that curb on the corner, or we just leave it be. We could leave it be, but I don't know if that's going to sit well with my brain. Because it'll still look curved after we cut the edge off that we're not using. And my brain might have a problem with that. Okay. Get that all laying flat in there. We've been having some showers off and on today, which was good. We definitely needed the rain. Absolutely. Starting to get a little too dry and crunchy out there. Hadn't really had any good soaking rain for a little bit. And with as hot as it's been, like, that's not so good. But it's gonna jump back up temperature wise again here, which sucks because it's like 69 out right now. It's great. Very unusual for August. Kind of wish we could open the windows and take advantage of it, but we have to do a screen inspection before we do that. And it's just gonna get sticky again tomorrow. So it kind of doesn't seem, excuse me, worth it. Like, not really. So I'm not sure if I'm gonna do one tree and take it from the bottom all the way up, or if we're gonna do like a couple of rows offset of the same color. Like, I'm not sure. I don't know. Because I feel like, on one hand, if we do the multi-rows of the same colors in there, it's just gonna start to all look like one block of color anyway. So maybe we would just be better off doing like the one row, you know? I don't know. Like, I'm not against doing extra work, because that would be extra work to do more than one row of the same color in there. I just don't know if that's something that would actually be worth it, you know? If the extra work is worth it for the outcome, then I'm fine. Whatever. It is what it is. It's the means to getting to where we want to be. But at the same time, is it even gonna work the way I want it to, you know? That I don't know. We might have enough of this. Ah! Where'd it go? I got it on there. That's alright. That'll dry. It's not like it's wax or anything. Just a drop of water. That'll lighten up as that dries. It should. It's just water. Okay. You see my fluff moving around, it's because we've got some fans running. Just to try to keep the air circulating in here. Okay. So, I mean, this section doesn't have to be super perfect, but I'm gonna at least give it a valiant try. It doesn't have to be 100% perfect because we are gonna have those trees sitting on top of it. Okay. I mean, we're getting there. We're getting there. It's starting to push that back a little bit, which is good. It's what we want. That is helpful. There we are sideways just a little bit. Let's see if we can get some fluff in action here. Facing the way that we're supposed to be. I've gotten one of the oil painting videos edited and all set to go up for while we're away. And I'm working on the second one right now. Well, I started it last night. I sat down to do the title card for it, and I just got so overwhelmingly tired. My brain's like, yeah, I don't want to do this right now, and I'm like, well, we have to. So I got through the title card, and then my focus is just like, yeah, no. Too tired now. So we're still not completely over this stomach virus. We're getting there. Slowly. But we're getting there. Lay that down there. Alright. Bad. It's not bad. Sorry, my eye was getting all sorts of allergy ridden here. Like all watery and unhappy. So we started early, but not as early as we have been, but my husband thinks I'm crazy because I drink seltzer water. He's like, you're not gonna put any flavoring in it? And I'm like, no, I'm okay without the flavoring, like, it doesn't have to be there. And he's like, oh. And I'm like, what? It's a little bitter, but it's not like impossibly so. Like, it's not that bad. And I like the bubbles. It makes me feel like I'm drinking soda when I'm not. I like that better than the club soda. Club soda's... I don't like club soda. It tastes different than the seltzer. And not every seltzer is the same either. This one particular store brand of seltzer is what I've been drinking lately. I wish it was raining a little bit harder. Cats found a dead, I won't say it. The cats found a mouse, a young mouse, somewhere in the house. Don't know where they found it, but they left it by their food bowl. Someone did. We don't even know who found it. I have my suspicions that it was little, but I'm not certain. Russell found where they had left it. There, we're gonna turn our mat there. Ow. That was my foot. Because my foot likes to be problematic at times. Well, all of my body likes to be problematic at times if we're gonna really get down to it, but that is what it is. Alright. So this kind of slopes down. The other hill kind of doesn't go as far across. That one kind of hangs out to about here. And then we've got this other plain hill set of trees, whatever you want to refer to it as, hanging out back here. I think school starts this week here, which just feels wrong to my brain. We never started school before Labor Day in South Jersey. Didn't matter if it was the private school or the public school. We did not start. Now we would start like that Tuesday. But here apparently they're starting, I think, this week, and then they're off, I believe, for Labor Day weekend. But they also get an extra day because so many of the local kids participate in the square dance competition that takes place over the weekend. There's exhibition teams and competition teams apparently, and the competition teams can go late into the night on Monday of the holiday weekend when they have the craft fair that they have the competition at. So because sometimes they don't get done till like 10 or 11 depending on the amount of teams. I think there used to be more teams in the past, so it would go a little bit later. They gave the kids like that Tuesday off too. And I'm like, what are we doing? Why are we doing this? I'm not mad about them getting the extra day off. I'm just like, why are we starting in August then? Why don't we just start after this? I'm sure there's a point to it that the people that grew up here know why it is the way it is. But it's just strange to me. Summer's like not quite over. And you're already shoving them back into school. I think I had a cousin that went to a gifted school in Florida, and I remember growing up, I think my grandmother and my one aunt saying that she went to school year round. However, they would go for like X number of weeks, I think 6 weeks, and then I think they had like 2 weeks off. Or some nonsense. That just seems kind of cruel. To live in like the vacation capital area around here, or one of them, and constantly having to be in school just seems wrong to me. Like, I know how bad the tourists could be at times in South Jersey. Now, I didn't really do the beach back in South Jersey because you always had to have beach tags, and it kind of boggled my mind that we had to pay to go on a public beach, and I didn't have money for beach tags and stuff. And I don't know if any other beaches do that. Like, you could buy a tag for the day, I think, or maybe the season. And, like, they actually had beach tag patrol people that would walk the beach and look to see if you had your tag displayed. It was, like a little plastic thing that I think you either had to have on you or, like, on your chairs or something, if you brought chairs. I'm just like, really? This seems absurd, but okay. And, like, I know how congested some of those touristy areas could get up there. I couldn't imagine trying to fight to go back to school in that kind of traffic. On top of, you know, traffic there was not great to begin with, but then fighting the tourists and everything, and seeing everybody heading off to the beach when your ass had to go back to class, that just seems mean. Just wait till the end of the season. Like, a lot of people in the area I grew up in, like, lived for, like, the first week or two after Labor Day, where they could try to get to the beach around their work schedule before it got too cold to go when most of the tourists had left. Still not sure what the fuck happened up here. It's actually aggravating to my brain, because I was on the tape. I was on the line, and everything got pulled inward. And it was not crooked when we started. It's just maddening. But I don't have any more of the thicker felt right now. Like, even trimming it's not going to do a whole lot, because it's still going to be curving inward. Like, that's just the way it's going to be. I don't know, I'll have to see how bad it looks when we get there. I've got a rough piece of skin on my finger and it keeps catching the fiber. So I keep looking at my hand. I'm like, what the hell? Okay. So then we've got this guy. I guess we can bring you into here. And try to get this guy as straight as we can. Don't know how that's gonna go. We will see. And we'll get this all worked into here. Okay. So I might need to add a little bit more down into this area as we go. But that's not looking too bad. It is pushing these guys back, which is what it was meant to do there. So we still have to finish filling in that section. And give me a minute. There's a dog that wants to go potty. And we'll be right back. Or
Sorry, I didn't realize he needed to go potty.
do I need to get him?
No, I got him.
You sure?
Yeah.
Alright, never mind. Yeah, he was standing there staring at you. I heard him get up and then I'm like, okay, where is he?
Come here.
And he wasn't standing behind me.
Oh,
I'm not sure if it might have rained again. Windows 11 is saying light rain, but I don't know if that's the forecast or if that's what's actually going on. Kind of looks like the sun's trying to come out.
nah, kind of, not really.
Okay. Alright, well, never mind then. We don't need to take the dog out. Alright. So we'll get this bit worked into here. So this section here, all the way around into here, that's going to be our river. This is going to be an island, peninsula, bit of land sticking out into our lake, river, whatever the hell it is. I guess it's a lake, because they're talking about peaceful. Oh, I guess it could just be a very flat river. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna need to wash our one painting towel. Because we're gonna have time. This is gonna be a slower paced adventure for us. So I think I'm gonna bring my gouache because that's probably gonna travel about the best. So I need to make sure I've got my pencils, my pencil sharpener, some erasers. Don't know if we'll actually get around to using any of it, but we'll have it. The hotel that we're going to be at has some nice seating options. Around our pool. Question is, I don't know what palette to bring. I don't know if I should bring the bigger palette or the smaller palette. I might have to bring the smaller one. We'll see. We'll see. So I've still got a little bit of a noticeably thin section in there. So I do kind of want to fill that in. I know we're gonna have trees sitting over this, but I'd rather have it filled in and looking good. Just in case we have any color showing through. So we'll probably have a little bit. So we might as well just make sure. Because when it gets to be a little bit thin and you can see your base color underneath of it, I'm always worried it's gonna like split and be more pronounced later. as we start to add on some more color on top of it. It's a little bit thin right there, but that one might be alright. Maybe. But it's not doing too bad. It's, I know up here looks kind of weird, but we'll get that sorted as we get the trees pulled in. The fluff's just kind of not really moving in my hands here. Not like how I want it to be, so. Alright, let's get back into here. Loud growly vehicles outside. Whoop. Let's not needle felt into the tape, shall we? That's not gonna do us any favors here. Okay. I know I kind of drifted up from where we were actually supposed to be tapping in here. It happens. I get distracted. I saw a section that I was like, okay. Peel that section up there. Alright. We're getting there. That was the back. Got a little bit more on this color to get filled in here. Not like a huge amount, but a little bit, Alright, I'm gonna put in just a little bit there. Just to kind of anchor that down. That needs another little bit of patching in there. Okay. Got just a little bit more. Sorry, that was an annoying something I had to deal with. Okay. Cow's back. Meow. That cat sounds like he smokes 6 packs a day. Okay, that's not fully attached yet, but oh my gosh, what is happening? Why? Yeah, I'm gonna have to. I have no idea why it did that. The other side didn't do that. That is crazy. Alright, so get this section popped into here. If we can manage to not go through our tape too much. We are pretty bunched up on the tape here on this section. So tape and thicker felt, good combo. Tape and the thinner felt doesn't really seem to do anything. I mean, sometimes I need the little extra guardrails, if you will, but is it really doing anything? I don't know. Okay, so we'll get this section in here, and then I think we'll be able to start our trees, perhaps. How much that bunched up. That is crazy. What is happening? Like, are we even on? We're on the line. That is wild. Absolutely wild. So I'm probably gonna have to cut this one on the back. And like start at that corner and just like come down. We'll see how much of that side we actually have to end up losing. Hopefully it's not too much. Alright, so I'm going to tuck that color back in its bag. Alright, so our back trees, we're going to put the trees in on this section before we fill in this section with our ground color. Let me check my notes here. Alright, our far trees are the color jewel. So let's start digging. Oh right, that color needs to go. Actually, both of those colors need to go back on the wall. Alright. We're looking for the color jewel. Where is it? That's rich teal. Nope, that's not it. Those are not it. Excuse me. Are you the very bottom of the bucket? Probably. No. Oh, there you are. You escaped the bucket. Uh-oh. Whew. I almost fell out of my chair. That would have been a thing, wouldn't it? I don't know how I would have gotten up from that. It's a tight quarters back here. Alright. So we're using this jewel color. For our back row of trees. Not quite the same shade that Steve used, but you know, we gotta do what we gotta do here. So here's the thing. I still haven't decided how we're gonna handle this. So I mean, obviously that's not the right shape. But do we want to go multi, or do we want to go, maybe we do 2 rows back here. I don't know. Are the 2 rows gonna look strange? Probably. Because they're all gonna be the same color. So in that case, we just, because these trees here are going to be a little bit shorter. I was originally thinking like teardroppy trees, but I don't know. Do I really want to do the teardroppy trees, or do we just do like, or do we just do, yeah, yeah, okay. We're just gonna have to go for it, or else I'll be sitting here second guessing everything. We'll see how it goes. I might need to trim out the bottom, which is fine. We'll see. So I'm kind of doing the lighter of our tealy colors for this row. Here's the thing, do I want to... I could have trimmed it, but it was such a small piece that we were going to be left with there. Now, we could have tried to 3D that guy. Which would have involved basically like creature making his shape and then attaching him. So that's an option if you want to go that way. Now I did add more of this color to our bag because I wasn't sure how much we were going to go through. That might not quite be the right height there. Let's see here. I'm gonna kind of start with the tip of our tree first. Oh gosh, we so did not get that guy shaped quite right. Now, I guess in this instance, the tops of your trees are going to be a little more important than the bottoms of them. Painful. That little tiny bit. I could have just flipped it up. So, was it really necessary to do this ground color in here? Don't know yet. Sometimes I put it in and then I'm like, oh, I guess I really didn't need it because we got everybody all tapped in on top of each other after all. But sometimes I like having that little bit of a just in case background in there. I don't think this is enough to do really anything width here, is it? Maybe. Might be able to get a little guy kind of popped into there. So I'm not really sure what kind of trees these were supposed to be when Steve was putting them in. They were just kind of like rolling foothill trees. I think they were just supposed to be the suggestion of something going on in the background. Alright. So we've kind of got that started in there. Those two were kind of close together. We'll see if I can space them out a little bit more. Alright, so that's a little bit bigger than we necessarily need. I also don't want it to be super skinny either. But then again, these really aren't supposed to have all that much definition going on with them. Alright, so I'm going to bring this one in a little bit shorter. Or at least we're going to try to. We need to work on varying our heights a little bit here. Just a bit. Alright. So not too bad. And see, that's another reason why I wanted to have this ground cover in. Because, you know, there will be gaps between trees. That's just the way things are. Like this section kind of straightened out a little bit. This started straight and then it just went whoop. I know, I'm obsessing about it. I need to stop. But it's hard to not obsess about it when you tried so hard. To get the thing to behave, and then it doesn't. It's a bit frustrating. Well, I just didn't really tack that section down at all, did I? Again, fingers just here to make sure that we don't grab too much of our fluff in one go. And yeah, see, it does start to become a wall of color at the bottom, so doing 2 rows of trees wouldn't have made a whole lot of sense. We would have had to deliberately make sure we left our ground cover color definitely visible there. The trees are all crooked. So if we really don't like the way the bottom of the trees come in, we can always come back in a little bit more with that ground cover and kind of do like a river bank. And we might end up doing that anyway when we get there. Or lake bank, I keep calling it a river. It feels like it's flowing like a river, which is why I'm kind of, I guess, mentally hung up there. Alright. How much do we have here? Don't know that I've got enough to do anything with that. But I guess it's really more or less the top edge that's really our important bit here. Really the tops of our trees that are going to be our more defining issue or defining feature, I suppose. Alright. Not going in too bad. I wasn't really sure about this one, and I'm still not really all that sure about it. Like the fall in the front and the winter in the back still kind of has me thrown for a small loop. I mean, I know mountains can have snow on them and other areas below it can be too warm for it. It's just strange to me in this particular layout. Alrighty. Just trying to tack down the sides in a shape that I think is gonna work for us here. Or at least that's what we're gonna try for. Really hate trimming the edge there. So we're left with such a small piece. It doesn't always translate into a usable piece. For what we're doing. Okay, I think we're probably good to turn that. It's been a minute. Okay. Alright, so this guy kind of becomes another taller one. Can we... Yeah, there we go. Get you worked into being a little bit of a shorter guy. Not everybody needs to be super, super tall in here. Okay. So I don't know. Are we doing game night tonight? Husband?
Hmm?
Are we doing game night tonight?
Probably not.
Okay. So that's fine. We'll get some editing done. Maybe we'll get some Diablo. Because I think the Diablo season that's going on right now is going to end within like maybe 2 or 3 days of us getting home. And we're not going to be here for 2 weeks, so there will be stuff up on the YouTube channel though. I've been working to make sure of that. Alright. you about into here. Gosh, that's a very skinny guy compared to the bottom of you. Guess that's alright. Sometimes you get those skinny tops to like pine trees and what have you. And not every tree is going to look the same. Okay. So I do keep brushing the back down just so we don't get too bumpy on the front. 'Cause that's not really what I'm looking for. Alright. Next bit of fluffy stuff. That's a lot of fluffy stuff there. Maybe we pull a little bit off of that. Fuzz is flying everywhere today. Okay. This guy tacked into here. And then, if we're not super thrilled with the spacing, like up in here, we can always grab a skinny bit and come back in. So like here, come in and trim the bottom off of this guy. Make sure everybody's looking okay up here. Because, you know, sometimes as you're stabbing into one area, you could pull the fibers from another. I'm going to take this little piece that we pulled off, well, trimmed off. And I'm just going to kind of try to tuck him in between. Those two pieces. There's just a little bit of a bigger gap there than I was happy with. If you're fine with the gap, then by all means leave it. Like that gap I'll probably leave alone. Just in that particular spot, it just wasn't sitting quite right with my brain. That was a nice color. I think the damn sun's out. What happened to our rain we were supposed to get all day? Hello, Tom. I'm alright. Hope you're doing well. Welcome in. Really impressed. It looks really, really good. Well, thank you very much. We are following along with Bob Ross's Joy of Painting tutorials. We're on the last tutorial of Season 3. We've done them all up to this point. Those are all archived on the YouTube channel. Same name as here. And we're trying to figure it out. We're slowly making progress here. So hope you're doing well. We're using acrylic yarn instead of roving, or instead of wool roving, which is what traditionally gets used for needle felting. The acrylic yarn's a little bit more budget friendly for me, and it's a lot easier to find more colors in the yarn than the roving for what I've been able to find. And we definitely needed a lot of colors for this project that we've been doing. How did you get started with this? Never seen painting with wool. So I actually saw some YouTube videos of a couple of creators that I kind of see what they're up to from now and then, and I think it was oh, I'm gonna mispronounce her name. I think I'm gonna mispronounce it. Mira Byler, I think, on YouTube. I saw her first do it and I'm like, oh, that looks like fun. I want to try that. And I kind of sat on thinking about it for maybe 6 months to a year, and I was like, no, I still want to try it. So one Christmas I ended up picking up a needle felting toolkit off of Amazon. I had got some craft felt, and this is just what this is, just like a normal 9x12 piece of craft felt. And I picked up a pack of, let me see, I got it here, of like a color sample of roving. It was like 50 colors or whatever. I still have it. Just to try it, because I didn't want to get too bogged down with a lot of supplies in case I didn't actually end up liking it. And then I liked it, and so we're still doing it, obviously, but when I got the idea to try to follow along with the Bob Ross tutorials, because I'd never seen anybody doing that with needle felting, I was like, ooh, we're gonna need a lot more color, because the roving color kit that I picked up off of Amazon, you couldn't reorder the colors. They just gave them to you. They're like, here's this X number of colors. And they're like, they feel like a floss bag. It's a very small bag. You don't get very much. We're working on an 8x10 work area at the moment. This is, this wouldn't have been enough. So I was like, yeah. So then I started looking into how much roving was and the colors I could get, and I wasn't feeling it. And I'm like, okay. And then I had seen that you could do it with acrylic yarn instead, and I'm like, oh, tell me more. Because acrylic yarn would be a lot easier. And then I wouldn't have to dye any roving. Because that's where it was going to lead to if I couldn't find another way to do it. And I'm like, I don't want to dye a bunch of roving. I don't really have the room, number one. And my cats will probably think it's a toy and try to play with it as it's drying. And yeah, no. Some people like dyeing fiber. I really didn't want to. And then I would still have to buy the base roving, and that was a little pricey. But then I was like, hey, acrylic yarn. I can buy a whole bunch of colors. And I haven't run out of a color yet, although I do have like 60 some colors of yarn. It's probably more than that, but it's probably closer to 75. But I got a lot of it on sale, like doorbuster deal sales. So I'm like, cool. The only thing with the acrylic yarn is that it takes a little bit more prep. Oh, and you need a mat. Some people use a foam mat. I'm using a wool mat. I like these mats. They're not scritchy. Sometimes the foam can be a little scritchy to my ears. My ears are sound sensitive. Kind of like nails on a chalkboard for me with the foam. But this mat's been great. We've had this mat a year now. It certainly had some wear and tear on it, but it's still going strong for us. But, you know, I just kind of picked a photo of something that I wanted to try to duplicate. And we went for it. I'm trying to see where the first one we did went. I don't see it. Huh. I must have tucked it away somewhere. I don't know where it's at. But, it's on the YouTube channel. But, I don't know. I like it. I still paint. We do acrylic painting. Sometimes we do oil painting. Once in a while we'll do gouache. And I still like those mediums, but there's something about this. I like the textures. I like that it doesn't dry out as I'm working on it because it's fluff. It does take a little bit longer than normal paint for me to work with, but that's kind of half the fun, is taking your time and planning out your project and whatnot. And I've started getting halfway through this project. I was like, I don't have any way to display these. I was originally gonna like put them in a frame, but then I was like, you know what if we like get some half dowels, some split dowels, and we paint them a color that kind of goes with the project, and then we trim off the excess. So like these sides where the tape is, that's gonna get trimmed off, the bottom's gonna get trimmed, and we like attach it to the top, and then we have like a little hangy bar. So that's what I've been doing lately. But yeah, I just kind of searched around on YouTube and seen some other people doing some of the, like, some people call it fuzzy art, or just like painting with wool, and technically we're doing acrylic yarn, but it's the same difference. I've used some of that roving when I've needed a color in a pinch that I didn't have in the other. I just didn't have enough of the roving, that wool roving, in the color kit that I had gotten to do like a large 8x10 piece. We've done some figurines too, not many, but we've done a couple. I enjoy doing like the pictures more than the figurines. But we are following along with our tutorial in the bottom corner. Currently paused. And just kind of shaping our bit of fluff here. Tuck that tail up under. Now, using the acrylic yarn does take a little bit more prep work. It's the only downside to it, but it's not that bad. I tend to, whenever I get yarn, before I put the yarn away in its holding container, I tend to get my Ziploc bag or some kind of plastic bag with a closure on the top of it. Doesn't necessarily have to be Ziploc brand, just a Ziploc type bag. And I will fill that up with some fluffed yarn. And I've got some like little clotheslines on the side of my work area where I've got all my colors of yarn that's been fluffed and ready to work with. And then as the colors get low in the bags, I will go back and cut some more yarn off of the skeins and fluff them and add to their bags. The fluffing's slightly time consuming, but it's not too bad. Alright, so our trees coming in here are doing pretty good. I'm okay with a little bit of that light color peeking through, you know, just here and there. Maybe that's just a thin section of the trees. It's all good. Have a little bit of water here. Just regular old water. Nothing special about that. Keep a bottle of tap water on my desk. It is designated for art things. Whether we're painting or doing this, like painting. That way we are good to go. Now, yesterday we were working on a paint marker on canvas piece. We'll have to try to finish that next week. I don't know what we're gonna do after that. Like, I'm just not sure. So we're just kind of stabbing that in to how we are happy with it. So we've also got that other teal color that we're going to put into here once we get through this section. Don't know that we're going to finish this section of trees today. Might have to finish this section of trees tomorrow. And we will see how things go. Hang on. There is a song in my ears that I don't like, so let me change that. Alright. So, now get our next bit into here. And we'll get this guy. All popped into here. And we're gonna have some bear and breakfast gameplay if I can get it edited. I shouldn't have to do too much editing the way I recorded it. The way I recorded it. There we go. Don't mind me, I'm just adding extra letters onto words. Okay. So let's keep on going here. All right. Let's see. Sometimes the fiber wants to cooperate in my hands and sometimes not so much. So we've got a little bit of water to the side there. So if your fiber's being a little extra fussy about doing what you want it to or shaping the way that you want it to. Now, Steve's trees were not quite this tall. I get that. Steve's trees did not quite look like this. He had a little bit more of like a roll to them. I'm just kind of doing them straight. I was originally going to try to do the roll. But you know what? We don't need to complicate matters more. So that's okay. We're doing alright. We are doing quite alright. But yeah, definitely better that we went with the one row of trees, because trying to get 2 rows, it just would have become more work for nothing, because what we're really worried about up in here is our tops. Now, if we were doing 2 different colors of trees in this section, then yeah, we would have done the 2 rows. But we're not, so we didn't. I'd like to know where that mark came from. We're all sorts of banged up here today. Like the cat did the 1 mark on my hand. She was being a little spicy while we were playing. She like wants you to play with her. She wants scratches, and then you start petting her where she wants to be petted, and then she gets spicy, and I'm like, look you. And instead of just letting her reach over and try to bite me like she does, I of course instinctively flinched away. So she her teeth scraped my hand. If I had just left my hand still, the damage probably wouldn't have been quite that bad. I mean, it's not bad to begin with, but she probably wouldn't have broken skin, but I was a little slow. And we know better with that one. She can be quite the spicy critter. She's always been spicy since she was a little tiny thing. Her favorite thing is walking up to us and like trying to bite our legs and greeting. I'm like, what are you doing, ma'am? You can say hi without doing that. So I'm not gonna worry too much about the bottom trees like being a little bit uneven there. That's fine. We're gonna come back in after we get the river in and probably add a little bit of a snowy bank there along the river edge, so that's fine. I'm not gonna sweat that right now. Okay, that's fine. We'll circle back around. Alright, don't forget to periodically, more than periodically, lift up off of your mat. Especially, like, I don't know if you need to really do it that much on the foam mats, but on the fabric mats, definitely recommend it, because you can become attached to your mat. How tiny. I don't know if that matters so much. Right, let's see what we can do here. Alright. I forgot I was gonna check our weather here. They've got us under a flood warning. Oh yeah, the rain's pretty much done for us for now. Are we gonna get any more? They're saying we have a chance of morning thunderstorms tomorrow. What do they define as morning? Oh, overnight. Okay. The wee hours. Alrighty. Who do you want to be the top? Who do you want to be the bottom? Alright. All of our treetops are crooked. That's fine. It actually gives it a little more believability in the tree department, I suppose. All right. So you can still kind of see the mountain line there through the trees. Not sure there's a whole lot I can do about that. I might just leave that be. What was that?
Me knocking something over.
Oh. Make sure the cats aren't getting into trouble. Oh, you know what I need to do? I need to get recycling out tonight if it's not storming. We got our dishes caught up last night. I'll tell you, it sucks when you're not feeling well and the house chores just don't stop. And you have a brain like mine that obsesses over it, and I'm just like, nah. Just not enough hours in the day. Alright, so we've got a little bit of a spot in there that we need to fill in there. Just need a little bit more fluff and stuff. But we can probably clean that up with the next bit of fluff coming in. Alright. So we'll get this next guy's top anchored on in here. And we'll get this guy kind of popped into here. Hopefully that will take care of that. So we are using a small needle. I can't tell you what the number gauge on it is. It didn't say. It just had the letter S on the tube of needles. That's all I can really give you guys. I actually might add one more little guy. over in here. So I'm just kind of shaping this. Alright, let's see. 'Cause now that I've definitely zeroed in on them, my brain's not wanting to let that one go. And you know what? It's okay, because we still are plenty sticky up in here. Not like sticky tacky, but sticky is like sticks sticking up. Alright, and yeah, you know, that is a little bit of a thin spot there. I mean, sometimes the thin spots are okay. And normally, you know, for normal people, it's probably fine. But my brain's like, excuse me, you have a slight issue. And meanwhile, the rest of me is like, no, I don't. And my brain is like, yes, you do. Especially since I noticed it. Oh, I wish I knew why that corner curved inward. Seriously. Thought we were doing everything right. We were doing so good with it. Alright, now that one on the far corner, I'm not gonna pay that much attention to it because we might end up losing that when we come in to trim down. So, like I said, when we get down to the end of the project, we're gonna clean all that up. When we get there. Alright, that's a little better. Alright. Just gonna lay down the back section here. I wish I knew what I did to my arm. Alright, so it's not too bad. I mean, yeah, you can kind of see the ridge of the mountain back there, but that is what it is. Alright, so we'll get this guy. A little bit of water here. Not too much, just a drop. We don't need much. And of course, the smaller your fluff is, the smaller it's gonna be when you start tapping everything into place here. As the fibers get all pulled in and tightened up on themselves. So like I said, I'm not gonna stress the bottom edge being a little uneven. It's fine. Forest edges normally aren't completely even. And we're also going to add some bit of a snowy bank on the bottom edge of that. And then right in round in here is where that other set of trees is going to come into place. So we are looking pretty good here. Tell you what, I am getting hungry. Which is kind of nice to say after the past week of not being terribly hungry. I am actually hungry. Alright, so these are just some little finger protectors that I have on my fingers to keep me from stabbing myself and hurting myself too terribly. You can still stab into them. Don't let the phrase finger protector mislead you. You can still stab into them. I know, I've done it. But it does kind of help any potential injury be a little bit less than what it could have been. We'll get this little tree guy all tucked into here. Okay, I need another little bit of fluff and stuff. Because that needs just a little bit more fill on it. Let's use a little thin in there. Thinner than I was looking for. Put it that way. All right. See what we can do here. Our next bit of treeage. I hadn't planned on making these trees quite so tall. And that just kind of ended up happening. Pretty much by accident. I do want to add a little bit more fluff in this section though. Just because I don't like how thin that spot is. So this is gonna kind of keep coming up this way. So, will we finish this guy before we leave? Uh-oh. Dropped it. End of September? I don't know. I really don't know. I would like to, so we can come back and dive into the Christmas gift making season. But we will see. Good thing about trees like this, where they're right on top of each other, doesn't really matter if they're a little crooked. I mean, trees are crooked in nature anyway, but it's a little bit easier to disguise just how crooked they are. I still got this one stubborn bit of brown peeking through here. Just being stubborn. But I would really prefer it not be sticking through. Once I get that cleaned up, I think we finally got him. Alright. All good now. Okay, we're not doing half bad here. Kinda can't wait to see how it's gonna go once we get this section in. I mean, I guess we'll see when we get there, but alright. Next bit of tree action here. Work on getting this one all sorted out. Now remember, we're gonna kind of follow this up. Now it's perfectly fine that this isn't right on that edge, because this right here is where we're gonna have this other row of trees starting to come in, and it's gonna layer up. And a little bit of snow on the ground in between them shouldn't really matter. Like, not all that much. Okay. Alright. Let's see here, get our next tree figured out. Yeah, so we'll be finishing this tree line tomorrow. And probably, we'll probably have time to start work on this section. Alright, it's a little bit taller than I really wanted that guy to be. So I'm gonna see if I can shorten, or try to remember to shorten these guys as we're coming up the hill here. That was the dog. Alright, so I think we might end up stopping a little bit early today. Do have a bit of a headache going from the weather. And the constant stabbing's not doing that any favors, but our mat's getting lumpy. But you know, we've put it through its paces over this last year, so I can't complain. Oh, the heck? Oh, that was from the tag. Why is that string coming out of it? There was a name tag on here for the company that it was from, and I ended up taking it off because the tape I had on there looked ridiculous. It was starting to peel off anyway. But, yeah, we're not doing too bad here. We made some decent progress today. We finished getting in our snow into here, and we've got our trees up to here. Tomorrow we'll finish putting in this color of tree up into here, and then we'll probably start putting in our snow ground cover in here if we have time. So thank you guys for joining me today. Don't forget to follow the socially do's down below. There are links to the Ko-fi, the Instagram, the X, Twitter, and the YouTube channel. Most of the live streams are archived over on the YouTube channel. So if there's a project you want to see start to finish, I also try to do a speed felt of the entire project as I get time in my editing. Sometimes they're a little bit slower to come out than others. Those will be at the end of all of the live streams. It's just the live streams edited down into a faster one video instead of the multi-sessions, if you would rather watch those. We're still working on the one for episode 10. Husband's almost done that one, but we've been sick the past week and a half or so, and he's been busy, so hopefully we'll get that done soon. But then I still have to look at it, so I don't know if that's going to be up before we leave or not, because I've got some other editing I have to do. But hope you guys enjoyed your weekends. Hopefully I'll see you tomorrow as we work on finishing up this tree line. If not, that's cool too. I know people are busy. School's getting back into session. So everybody enjoy your evening. Hopefully I'll see you tomorrow. And until next time, everyone, have a good one.